Welcome everyone to our broadcast of our webinar here for this morning. My name is Ted Barklage. I am with New System. New System is a janitorial supply house here in Earth City, Missouri. We cover central and southern Illinois and central and southern Missouri as far as servicing all sorts of people that use janitorial supplies, anything from municipalities to healthcare to education and so forth. All of us are taking care of indoor environment, and that's why we're talking today about certifying the health of our indoor environment. I have with me Dave Thompson. Dave Thompson is the president of GCI, which is the Green Clean Institute. Dave, say hello.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm glad that you've been able to join us, and I welcome you to our one-hour presentation, Certifying Healthier Indoor Environments. Thank you very much, Ted, for inviting me along.
Okay, let's get started here. Dave was pretty, didn't happen to mention, but he is also the author of the New Generation of Cleaning, a Best Practices Guide for Environmental Health Services. You can contact Dave as far as how to obtain a copy. Dave, how would they obtain a copy, briefly?
We put this out, first of all, as an e-book. It is available at Amazon.com. The e-book, of course, will give you links to videos and other supporting data that we've used within the book. It's also available for print if you would like it that way. If you go to my website, you'll be able to have the two links to get that. It's $9.95 and $18.95.
Okay, thank you, Dave. And so that will be how you can get a copy of Dave's book. All right, Certifying Indoor Environmental Health is our subject for today. As we say, we spend a lot of time indoors, and conventional cleaning has been, down through the years, gauged by appearance, perception, and product. And what do we mean by that? Well, usually, as long as we don't see spots on the carpet, everything's assumed to be clean. It's an appearance thing. Maybe if we don't see dust bunnies in the corner, we assume that things are clean. If we can't see dirt in the corners or on the baseboards or in hard to reach places, well, then we assume that people did a good job of cleaning. As long as no one's complaining, generally speaking, everyone thinks we have a clean facility. But the question is, are these buildings really healthy? Maybe we don't see spots on the floor, dust bunnies in the corner, dirt in the corners, but are these buildings really healthy buildings? That's the question that we want to talk about. We've seen for years signs like this one. The sign isn't very clean, but it's outside of a building not too far from us here. Approved clean restrooms. Well, are they really clean? Are they healthy? That's the question that we want to discuss. These gentlemen here are in a building that is a healthy building. They are standing around a certification mat that shows that they have proved that they have a healthy building. Well, how have they done that, and how does this work? Dave, why don't you explain what happened here for this company and how we got to this situation?
Ted, thank you very much for that introduction to what conventional cleaning is all about. Today, we've always said this, but in 2006, I coined a phrase. To say that a building is clean does not mean that it is healthy. But if a building is healthy, it is clean. This comes to a standpoint where what we want to do is we want to talk about exactly what is clean and what is not from a health standpoint. And this is exactly why we put together the phraseology of environmental health services. Our intent and purpose here is not to absolutely define what is a healthy building, but to show progress within a building. Folks, we are in the services business, and we are talking about the health of the people that are in that building, within that built environment. Now, what is an environmental health services program? Well, it has to have a baseline of understanding of the negative environmental issues, the ones that are affecting people in a negative way. And what we're going to talk about through these best practice standards that you're going to hear about this afternoon is an outline of how to replace those impacts with positive measures. We're going to be able to show you how you can verify those and be completely transparent in how that you want to publicize this to your clients, your constituency, to the people that use that building. Now, this EHS program will include a number of different things. I'm going to highlight 3 of those at this point. The first one is the maintenance of the indoor air quality, or as you've heard before, IAQ. It's basically what are we breathing and what is going into our bodies on a regular daily basis. What are we looking at, and how do we measure whether this indoor air quality is a positive or a negative on our own personal health? The second thing we're going to talk about is that nightly or daily removal of the visible soils, the microbial contaminants that are on the touch points. You hear a lot about this. It's how are we cleaning those surfaces. So we'll talk about that. And then, of course, as we always do, is the removal of the waste from our persons, what we generate, how are we removing that waste from the facility. Basically, what we're talking about here, folks, is the hygiene of the building. It's the very simple terms of what qualifies health from a hygienic viewpoint, and how can we in environmental health services impact that in a positive and proactive way. Now, as you look at this, there's several different measuring devices, several different sustainable features that we want to address, and I think Ted and New System have availability of a number of these things. But the one thing I want to point out before Ted goes into these is continuous improvement. This program is designed to help you define where you are today and to help you measure your improvement as you go. There is not one building on the planet today that is 100% of the way there. There are some that are just barely getting started. So what we're trying to do here is help you to decide what is the things that you can do today, what can you do tomorrow, and that continuous improvement. And Ted, you might want to explain a few of these from the New System viewpoint.
Well, first of all, personal education is very important. You'll see these listed here on the screen. Educating the worker so that he really understands why he's cleaning. This is different than training. Training is for training someone for operating a machine, for instance, or something like this. But this is really education on why we clean, why it's important, and how do we clean for health. Something as simple as personal hand hygiene, hand washing programs, for instance, in facilities that have numerous occupants like schools or daycare centers, how important personal hand hygiene is. And then somehow be able to measure these things here through the measuring devices. You'll see some devices, and we'll show slides later on too, in the upper corner here, of an ATP meter, something that measures the soil load on a surface. Are we really clean? When things look clean, are they really clean? Sometimes we can't see soil load that's there. So these are things that can be done that will help us to know whether we're really in a good, clean, hygienic environment or not. We need to take some proactive measures. These measures really cost less. If we let things go until we have to react when someone complains, that's what costs us money. But if we can, through education, through monitoring, be proactive in the environmental health of our building, things are always much more effective, and it even costs us less to maintain those environments. Dave, you want to take over?
Yes, Ted, you're very right. The problem with most of what we do in conventional cleaning is we're reactory to what we do. In other words, we're basically firefighters. When there's a problem, we take care of it. In a professional EHS service, you're going to be looking at environmental exposures that happen, and we're going to understand how these come about, and we're going to work from a proactive viewpoint. A lot of people are using the term green cleaning. We actually like to look at this as environmental health. And we're trying to reduce the exposures before they have a big strain on our budget. Now, if you will, when we talk about this, also think about this in the viewpoint of not just professional or corporate level, but also your own personal budgets at home. Many of the things that we're going to talk about this afternoon can be applied to you and your family and those that you love at home. So as we progress through this, I think you'll understand this. What we're going to do is we're going to show you with New System how New System and GCI both can help you certify a facility in only 30 days, and that's going from the education that Ted talked about through the best practices program and identifying the training and the implementation of products and services that you've done within your building. Now, as we go through this, I want you to understand that this is both for building service contractors as well as in-house facilities. And Ted, you talked about professional development. Why don't you explain that?
Well, the very first thing, as I said earlier, is professional development, so that our staff really understands why we are cleaning and why it's important and what it is doing for ourselves personally and also for the environment of the facility that we're in. Now, this professional development under this program of being certified in 30 days, which may seem hard to do, but it's really possible, this development can happen a number of different ways. We can have you come to New System, and we have a classroom set up there with a smart board equipped and so forth for instruction, and we can give you instruction at New System. Or we can make arrangements to come to your facility and conduct the same instruction there on site for your group of those that want to be certified in this instruction for this professional development. Or Dave also has a mobile certification center that he can actually park out on the parking lot of your facility and have your staff come out to this mobile certification center. And why is that good? Because it kind of gets them out of the building, away from telephone contacts and interruptions, and they can be certified there right on your facility's property, but yet out of the building and to the mobile certification center. So the training of or professional development of your staff is very, very important. Basically what they're doing is they're taking the Technician 101 and 102 courses from the Green Clean Institute. Now, the Green Clean Institute, as you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner there, is FAL certified. It's Foundation for Accredited Learning. Someone has to make sure that they keep tabs on people who are out certifying individuals, and the Foundation for Accredited Learning does that. They monitor the program for the Green Clean Institute to make sure that the certification is valid, and they do that. So this is this Technician 101 and 102 course is typically a one-day course, 101 in the morning and 102 in the afternoon. In order for your building to be certified, 80% of your frontline staff would need to pass this technician certification course here. And then one individual on staff would need to take the executive course, which is a little bit more in depth. But by doing this, your staff has really accomplished some tremendous professional development, gives them an understanding of what they are doing and why they are doing it, which is all part of this certification program. Now, after that, after the development happens, there are some other things that we want to do, and these are things that even maybe you're already doing, and Dave's going to stress that, but yet they need to be identified and to be publicized. Dave, you want to explain that a little more?
Thank you, Ted. As well as the achievement of both technician and executive, once that your organization has accomplished those first two steps, you will then be silver certified. Your second step in order to be certified as a gold building would be to go through this best practice standards matrix. It is basically a reward program, as Ted had said, to recognize what you're doing right in your building first. I think many people are trying to understand, have they done the right thing? Have they started the right thing? What is it that they're doing? And they're kind of lost as to where to start. So what this helps you do is set up a chain of events, if you will. So education, as Ted explained, is the foundation of the best practice standards. Then we want to look at what you've done to execute that information through the products and the practices that you're using, and what are the results that you're realizing within your facility. And I think what this helps you do is to focus on those practices that are having a positive impact on the health of the environment where those people are staying. And then, of course, the last thing we do is we want to verify that you have done this and that there is a proficiency that is being accomplished within your building. And this is where we get to the certification point. Now, as we go through these next slides, you're going to see that this execution is going to be verified. And this will help us to know what you're doing in a completely positive approach. Now, you see Envirox here. They are one of our partners from a manufacturer's standpoint. If, in fact, you are a client that is using the Envirox product from New System, if you were using all of their products, you would be gaining 100 points. So you can see where we said that you can get this in 30 days. You would definitely be able to accomplish this very quickly. If you scroll in just a little further, Ted, it shows here that we have 350 points that are required out of the 1100. So with this 100 points from Envirox, you're on a good start. Now, the next slide is going to show us here exactly how we start doing this. And everybody knows that indoor air quality starts right when you start walking in the door. This is where 80% of our negative IAQ comes in, and that's because of the dust and the dirt that comes in the building. So what we're going to do is, as you see in this next slide here, we're going to be looking at the way that the mats are put at the door. Now, a lot of places I go, the mat is across the door. In other words, it's 6 foot across the door, and only 4 foot comes out from the door. And the problem here is that you're not getting enough feet on the mat. In this example you see, they've covered the 6 foot span of across the door, but now they have almost 10 feet of mat coming out. 80% of that IAQ comes in that building over those mats, and this is what we're going to be looking for. So we start actually giving you points at the door before you get in the building. Additionally, we're going to go to your mop closet. You know, it's that little hole in the wall along the hallway that the people get their water and supplies from on a nightly or daily basis. folks, one of the things that we do is we look for labeling, we look at pH, we look at a number of different things on the chemicals that are in that closet. When I talk about labeling on products, we always want to point out that there are a number of different labels that are on products today. And green cleaning is very mainstream in a number of places. In some places it isn't. But labeling on products is not the only responsible avenue. And many times whenever I look at a facility and talk with the people there, they're very cognizant of the fact that they have a label and they say that they're being healthy because they're using a labeled product. Folks, I want to show you why labeling is not the only responsible avenue. Because as you see on this next slide, we talk about pH, and you notice that in the best practice there. For an example here, this is taking a test of something that is in this container, and using a pH paper we can identify whether this product has a healthier attribute, one or the other. Now I want to point out, you ask what is a healthy attribute of pH. Let me give you a little point. The pH of your blood is 7.3. If you have a product that you're using that is a 10, that is 1,000,000 times stronger than your blood. Why would we want to use a product that we're going to be touching and absorbing with our skin that is so hazardous to us and not rinsing? So whenever you look at this, it's not just the label, it's the pH, it's a number of different qualifiers that we're going to look at. Now as we move through this, we're not going to look just at the chemicals, we're going to also look at tools and equipment. And as you can see what we do here on the left-hand side, there's a little place for a checkbox. And what you're going to do is be able to check what your attribute is. So in this case here, they're wanting points for 80% polyester and 20% polyamide. And when they check that off, they get 5 points. Well, as you can see, they are going to qualify this by showing us a picture of the item and the labeling that verifies that point. So this is kind of how the program works. The next thing you'll see here is a double bucket system and a microfiber mop. One of the things that we're going to look for in the best practices matrix is that we want to see that the product is not only there, but that is being used and used correctly. I've been in this business over 4 decades, and I can tell you it's going to be hard for you to slide one by me and get points for something that doesn't work. So as you can see in the program here, we have a number of different ways that we verify whether you're actually getting the right results. Now in this one here, in equipment, motorized equipment, we have a whole section for mechanical motorized equipment. This is cylindrical brush, CRI certified. You're going to have to prove that you have these within your building. And in the next slide here, you will see the way that we go about this is that you will have to give us pictures of these labels on the machines that are in your building. Now, one of the things that we're not showing you here today is a very unique GCI a placard. And whenever you go through the program, as Ted said before, you're going to have to show us that placard in here. But we don't stop there, because we want to actually ask and be able to verify such things as the ATP testing that Ted mentioned before. So here's a place to get it in your restroom. That's not the only place, but here's one of them. Now, some of you may not know what ATP testing looks like. So this next slide is going to give you an example of how we do ATP testing. And the best way to do this is to have a regulated 4-inch square. You use a swab that is very specific to the ATP metering. And what it's going to do is it's going to give us a count. This count is the living microbes that are on the surface. And then what you do is, after you've cleaned with a product, and in this case it was the Envirox product that was being used, you then take a count to find out what your efficiency was of cleaning that surface from a scientific level. So you can see how we want to verify not only do you have the product, are you using it, and what are the results of that healthy cleaning. So this is the way the best practice standards program works. And once that you've had the education and you've went through the procedures, I think, Ted, you want to talk about some attributes and some schools that have been able to accomplish this.
Yes, this is something that is definitely very possible for you to do. We have some of our customers that have already done this and received national recognition for this. Dave has worked with the Columbia Public Schools down through the years in Columbia, Missouri, a large school district there. In 2010, they were recognized by American School and University Magazine as having the best new green cleaning program in the United States, a program that New System and GCI helped them put together. In 2011, the very next year, when they applied again and made some even further improvements, they received the grand prize of the best green cleaning program in the country. And then in 2013, another one of our customers, Rolla Public Schools, got the Silver Award for their green cleaning program and their environmental health program that they put together. So these things are definitely possible. We have customers of New System and GCI that are doing this and receiving the national recognition for what they're doing. New Franklin Schools is a small school district. How many buildings, Dave? Just a couple?
Well, they have a couple of buildings. But I think the point here is you just talked about two large school districts. This school district is, I believe, in their third year being certified as the first level for a school under our program. I believe they use the Envirox products, which New System distributes, and there's only 4 custodians here. So I think the point that I'd like to make here, Ted, is it doesn't matter how small or how large you are. This is still something that can be accomplished and is still for every facility.
Yes. So small or large, you have the ability to do this. Rolla High School, Rolla Public School District here, is the first gold EHS school in the country. This was a slide that you saw earlier. This staff of custodians has been able to really accomplish something that when people come into this building, whether it be students, whether it be administrators, whether it be staff, parents, the public at large, they can see that they are entering an environmentally healthy building, something that they can be confident of and confident to send their students there. So,
pardon me for jumping in here a
yes.
minute, Ted, but one of the things I just found out here recently was the staff there, administration at the building, did not want this mat to get soiled. And so what they have actually done is they've taken this mat and put it in a frame and hung it on the wall. I think it's very interesting. If you look at a school facility, there's banners all over the place that recognize all the sports attributes and the science club and all of these different things. And in this facility, they are so proud of their EHS certification that they have made a banner out of this and hung it on the wall. And if you really want to bring your environmental health services to the front door, this is no better way. That mat is always going to be there showing that these people care and have done something different than what is routine.
Very good. It's very interesting that they have done that. Also, we have Columbia Public Schools here, again, recognized as a 2-time Green Clean Award winner, but they are also in their 3rd year of GCI certification, and as you can see here, getting the recognition that they deserve, a ribbon cutting for the certification that they have accomplished here at the school district, something that they're very proud of, and the public, they're getting the public recognition for the efforts that they've put forward. Dave, you want to touch on some other parts of the country here and people that have worked in this program?
Yes, Cavalier in Norfolk, Virginia has been working with us, a distributor much like New System is in Missouri, and the local YMCA there was certified last year. They are currently working with one of their buildings to take it to gold, as well as other locations throughout the country have been working on this. I had the pleasure of being with this building service contractor, CSI International. They are in downtown Philadelphia, and they are working with the Philadelphia Electric and Power Company. And they have now gained their points for gold certification, and hopefully soon we'll be making a presentation and having a ribbon cutting for them. So, you know, this goes to show you that we have people all over the country. This summer I was in Colorado at Colorado State University, where we presented to them their EHS gold certification mat and certification. By the way, they happen to be an Envirox user as well, all the way over in Colorado. We also have different programs that we certify. We do not make a large detailed approach of this, but we do certify products and programs, and Cintas has been using a program that we certify, and what this is an environmental way of cleaning air conditioning and heating systems within hospitality units. So programs are being used all throughout the world that we certify. What you'll also notice here is this is one of a university here in Missouri that has taken their frontline staff, and as Ted mentioned before, 80% of them have been certified. We're waiting on the executive to go through his course, and then they're going to have their silver EHS and then on their way to gold. As we pointed out earlier, these are some small organizations, some medium organizations, but our largest one to date is with the City of New York. They have, over the last year, put over 700 frontline technicians through. I think here in the last month we had another 100 that went through. And so all of the facilities in the City of New York that are being cleaned by their Administrative Services Division is being cleaned by a frontline technician that is certified through GCI. They have their silver certification, and hopefully in the next year they'll be taking some of their downtown city buildings to gold standard as well. I think what this all speaks to is that throughout the country you see organizations like Colorado State, like Columbia, like City of New York, Goodwill, who uses the program for workforce development. They are using this program to help them state a baseline of understanding through the education that Ted mentioned, through using the best practices standard matrix, and then being able to market what they've done and their attributes through a transparency. And I think that's the whole thing. We know that people are doing the right thing. We just want to help you prove that you are, and then help set a standard that is achievable, and maybe even help develop that roadmap for you later on down the way.
You know, going back to this proactive measures, how important it is that we take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and we are proactive in what we do. We are trying to reduce exposures to problems in our buildings. The better we know how to clean and why we clean, the safer our surfaces are going to be. This illustrates a program here, or a procedure, I should say, of cleaning instead of just spraying and wiping. It's amazing how much more gross soil and bacteria is removed by just using a simple squeegee on a flat surface like you see here with a microfiber cloth. being proactive and doing the right thing and knowing why we're doing that and having a staff that knows these principles helps to ensure that our building is healthy. Healthy indoor environments save money. They help the facilities last longer. The carpeting, clean carpets last longer. Clean furniture lasts longer. The indoor air quality is important, that we can measure all of these things that we are doing to make a positive impact and a proactive stance on keeping a building environmentally healthy. And that we measure these standards. Sometimes we're already doing a lot of these things, but let's measure them, and so that these are transparent and marketable. Let's tell people what we're doing. When was the last time your environmental staff was recognized for their efforts? Well, now we have a way to measure what is being accomplished and to market those so that people are confident in walking into your building. This is truly something that can be done in 30 days for one of your facilities. And this is that window sticker that Dave was talking about earlier. That this helps people to see when they walk into your building that they are entering an environmentally healthy facility. Something that can be accomplished in as little as 30 days. New System and GCI can help you to accomplish this and get the recognition that you deserve for what you're doing already and what you can do in the future to continue pursuing the environmental health of your building. Here's the mat that Dave was talking about, the one that Rolla Schools framed and put on the wall. When you see, what's the phrase that you use, Dave, about the sticker and the mat?
If you do not see our sticker, think before you enter. We designed this whole program to get people to think about what is actually happening within that building. You can see the mat is very specific in its wording. Facility and environmental health services. This is where the two join together. As you go through this matrix, you will find certain identifiers that basically services departments say, I don't have control over that. Such things as water control and dispensers and sometimes even matting. But we're trying to bring the two together and put a certification on that. I've always said this, this to me is like putting my banner at the door on the floor. Now with Rolla, they can't put it on the floor. They've chosen not to do that. But we see several different services that are. Our whole intent and purpose, folks, is to bring your positive advancements for environmental health to the front door, let people know it, and then be able to market that so that it brings more value to your program. We always talk about value-added services, and I think that there's a large disparity of what we really term as value. And hopefully what you've seen today will help you decide, you know what, we are doing some things right. And through our joint efforts with you, we want to help you to bring that to your front door.
Well, thank you, Dave. We hope that you have learned something today. We hope that you see how important the health of your buildings are, and that you see that there's a way that you can certify your staff, help them get the education they need to do their job on a better level, plus be able to put these into application in their personal lives as well as in their professional lives, so that facilities can be environmentally healthy and safe for people that work there, that enter there, and that are using these facilities on a daily basis. So we thank you for your attention. New System is always there to help, and Dave at GCI is always there to help too. Here's our email addresses. You can feel free to contact us. We appreciate your participation in our webinar and your listening, and we hope you have a good rest of the day.